of fighting just like everybody else. You start to fight their way more so, instead of expanding your fighting vocabulary and the intelligence of fighting. So when you have people who just go up in these classical guards and you plant with them, have the sword way back. I mean, this has a time and a place, definitely. A nice wide power hitting stance. I can promote more power because I can strike with my legs, you know, and put this right leg behind my motion. So I get a lot more power. But if I'm just copying my opponent's intensity and stance and how they start, like, you know, you don't necessarily want to start here. I saw you start slower with Romulus at this range. I mean, this is a bad starting point. I mean, we should be back here. That way your mindset has this ability to confront your opponent from range, just like a tournament, and go, see? You know? Yeah. So I can move in on him if I choose to. But if I stop and plant my foot and then look at my feet, remember this? I start I'm preparing myself to attack by a slight twist of the foot. And the twitchy, a little twitchy, a little, you know, a little kind of preparing the mind to attack. All the tells. Right, that's why you always want to strike fluid where it doesn't even look like anything, you know? You just come at the guy, you know, you make it, just strike him. Don't get caught up in this stopping and, you know, going into a slugfest. I mean, there's a time and a place. Your opponent always expects you to be running around using, you know, very agile footwork, and he just has a plan to stand there and let you run about and let you tire yourself out, and then you change up your stance to completely mirror his and go toe-to-toe with him right away. It'll throw him off his mental game in his preparations. Because anybody who's worth their salt in fighting plans a new strategy every time they come to practice. That way they don't fall back on old bad habits. You try new things. Don't get trapped. Don't get bound to the past or the arrogance of you're known for one shot and you always use that. So don't get caught in that. That's like a self-defeating, you know, you always stay in that circle. You know, you'll always come back to this great blow combo or what you do or your training methods. But you got to realize you have to always break away and expand and look for new inspiration every time you fight. You know, almost like a new fighter every practice tries to learn something new. So that's why in this practice we're going to train with smaller shields and we're going to switch up our weapons and what we're doing all the time. That way we never get complacent and trapped into one certain mindset and one motion. We want to be excited and energized in the fight. I mean, I want to put that energy down range against my opponent, you know, and come at him. And come at him hard when I can. So, I mean, we're all friends here, but we're also fighting each other with sticks. So essentially we go home bruised every week. So, unless you got the perfect armor. I haven't met that one yet, but they usually tend to work real slow, move real slow. And they're made of T6, all T6. So, but yeah, I mean, there's no like, there's no dislike. I mean, I heard you say you don't like a certain fighter's counter-punching. You know what I mean? But that also excuses you in a way from engaging that kind of style and breaking it. Because the like or dislike colors from that perfect neutral point of thought to a darker one. And where you always have an out. You go, oh, he moves too much, he's counter-punching, you know, he's doing this or that. Don't worry about what he's doing, just defeat the technique, you know. I mean, the one technique to beat counter-punchers is, you know, you're the counter-puncher, and then counter-punch, you know, is you feint them, get them to throw, get them reacting, and usually you can counter-punch the counter-puncher. But there's no like or dislike, there's just what works. Absolute true neutrality in fighting is important. Now, obviously we all get unbalanced from time to time, I have, but it's important to try to take ourselves back there, even during the week when we're not fighting. And remember, like, hey, we're going to try to do something new. Work on those skills if you can. At least bend your mind towards it, so the next time you go and train, you're ready, more so. So, I mean, there's different guards. There's this guard. I'm obviously going to be real tight in this guard. Have a nice, but I'm limited in my attack range. I can hit here, I can thrust, but I have to deploy my blade. Though I've achieved a good amount of protection, I've also achieved a limited amount of attack. I can go here, and then I have to draw back the blade every time. which someone who's wise and can stand in the pocket and accept the blow can easily block, you know? So it's important to change your guards. So even this high sword guard to a crowning guard, and it makes your opponent draw up into this and look at it, you know, and be threatened by this thing that's high. But if you were to run at me, just throw a shot, and, you know, I could be here. I'd make this blade high, but I'm striking from high. I want to force him underneath that shield. Especially when he throws a guard, I'll leave it a little bit baited open. See? Do it again. And then you could drop to the leg, you know what I mean? But I could also put an angle on that too. And drop it and use gravity and a slightly open hand to achieve that power as I come down. See? And crown them. You want to be king. So, and it goes for other guards too. They just have different angles and different concepts that go with them. There's no one perfect guard. Every guard we throw up has a weakness. But if you trap yourself and you bind yourself purely to a sword guard, then you purely learn one style. And these are the people who teach you, not necessarily instruct you with words, but action. And you follow their lead because we're humans and we're herd animals. The difference between a champion is we decide not to be herd animals anymore. We decide to lead, we decide to rule, you know, with our abilities. And we hold ourselves responsible for those things, you know. So we want to be able to promote good fighting at all times, you know. This back guard, go ahead and throw a slot shot. Fast. Go ahead, fast. Oh. And all I had to do was, we'll do it slow, knock the blade back, and come over and counter strike. You know, there's just not attacking people, they're just attacking equipment. And all I have to do is deflect that blade out of the way, you know. But if he's not accountable for that leg, you know, I can come in and cleave that leg out. If he's in too loose of a sword guard like this, and I'm down here, I come up and hit that arm if I choose to, you know. So sometimes you can even, you know, change it into just a little bit slight motion, little finer techniques. I mean, these types of guards are well documented in medieval treatises on fighting. So let's just try new stuff. Enjoy yourself. All right.